Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. That was quite an introduction. I really appreciate it. It is such an honor to be here with all of you today. And there are many reasons for that. First and foremost, I just want to appreciate ICNA Canada. Again, I will get into the details of why, but for now I'll say, Brother Ijaz, to the whole team, you guys are doing a phenomenal job. But there is one person that I want to highlight, and that is Arif Jahangiri. Not only is he a community activist, but he is that one person who oftentimes in his role as a journalist asks me some very critical questions which make me think, which create dialogue and ultimately help us in creating solutions as to how we can work together to better support our community. So please, a round of applause for Brother Arif Jahangiri. I was 21 years old. I had just finished my undergraduate degree in professional writing and criminology. The plan was to become a journalist. And my dad sat me down and he said, Iqra, I think you need to go into politics. It is your strong skill set. And I laughed at him. I said, Baba, you have 3 sons. Ask them. Why are you asking your only daughter? He remained quiet. 8 years later, after I had completed my law degree and I was now working in the city of Mississauga's legal department, my dad came back to me and he said, Iqra, I think you should enter politics. You'd be good at it. And this time, I was like, Baba, you've thought about this for 8 years? What gives? Why? And we talked about it as a family, just like I'm sure many of you guys at the dinner table, you sit down, you have your family discussions. He wore me down. And the way that he was able to convince me to enter politics in the first place, he said, Iqra, you're probably not going to win, so you might as well do it for the experience. And then we'll do it at a later point in time. I was probably the most surprised person when I won the nomination to become the Liberal candidate in my riding of Mississauga Erin Mills. And then doubly surprised when I found myself sitting in the House of Commons taking my seat out of 338 people to represent my beautiful community. My dad has been one of my strongest allies, as many members in our community have been. And I think it really goes to show I am an empowered Muslim woman. I have stood up in the House of Commons, I have stood up in community to ensure that people like myself, that people like all of us have that equality of opportunity, have the ability to be strong in our convictions, to ensure that we are building what our future generation is, and we are ultimately building a stronger Canada. In 2015, when I was running for the first time, I was 29 years old. I'm still 29, by the way, in case anybody was asking. But I had so many role models. Zunaira Ishaq, a young woman who fought for her right to wear a niqab if she chose to. Narges Mohammadi, now a Nobel Peace Prize winner, standing up for the right of a woman to wear what she wants to wear without being dictated to. Malala Yousafzai, standing up for young girls and their education. I take a lot of lessons from a lot of these women, but I also take a lot of lessons from my male allies. People like Haroon Siddiqui, who I've looked up to since I was a teenager myself, or Stephen Brown, who's the NCCM CEO, or Taha Ghayur, who I see here, Dr. Nadvi, who has so many great wisdoms to partake upon all of us. I think when we work together, we get to those solutions, and we need to ensure that we are listening to one another. When the Quebec mosque attacks happened, the natural response of anybody when they feel under attack is to close their doors, to close themselves off, to protect ourselves. But what ICNA did, I remember at Al-Falah Masjid, was that they opened their doors. They opened their doors to let in people to see who we are as Muslims, to see that our way of life is that of peace, to see that we make contributions to our local communities by working together. Like Abdul Qayyum Mufti Sahib, who I see, and his $5 million pledge to the Credit Valley Hospital and Trillium Health Partners, the work that he's doing. When we work together, regardless of our gender, we all succeed as a community. Now, I said earlier, I'm an empowered Muslim woman. And I'm empowered because of the people that are around me. I'm empowered because of my male allies, whether it's my dad or my 3 brothers or now my nephews, whether it's people like Arif Bhai or Mufti Sahib or Dr. Nadvi or so many others in our community. An empowered Muslim woman is one who has safety and security of her person, and we've tried to ensure that that is the case by combating Islamophobia. When I presented Motion 103 in the House of Commons in 2017, that was the #1 objective, to ensure the safety and security of Muslims, and the most visible Muslims being hijab-wearing women. The second is health and wellness. We all know that women are the general caregivers in our communities. Bhale wo hamare bachon ke ho, our parents, our children, our siblings. Women are the general caregivers. But who takes care of women? We want to ensure that women have access to health care within our country, but not just access to health care, but actual solid health care that speaks to their needs, taking into account their religious differences, their cultural differences, making sure that healthcare is tailored to, for example, the South Asian community or the Black community who deal with very different health challenges. And the third is economic empowerment, to ensure that women have the financial freedom to be able to make the right decisions, to be able to raise themselves properly, effectively, while being able to wear the hijab, for example. Systemic discrimination impacts a woman's ability to be financially free. Systemic racism and discrimination, like Islamophobia, impacts a woman's ability to be healthy, to be able to take care of her loved ones. Systemic discrimination, and as we've seen, whether it's the Quebec mosque attack or the London terror attack, impacts the safety and security of Muslim women and their well-being. Now, I, as a member of parliament, have committed myself for these past 8 years to ensure that Muslim women feel safe and secure. One of the ways that I've been able to do that is not only to listen actively and to take in the feedback from our community, but also I've started a Mississauga Erin Mills Women's Council. Every year, 12 to 15 dynamic women of all backgrounds, of all races and religions come together, and they create policies, they create awareness programs to provide that support to women. And I'm looking forward to continuing to do that important work, not by leading from the front, not by telling people, okay, you know what, now I'm a leader and you can listen to what I have to say. No. I think the best position of somebody like myself is to be in a position to listen and to be able to take the measures that our community comes together to tell us. I know our Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau, stood with me shoulder to shoulder as we put forward Motion 103 in the House of Commons to combat Islamophobia. Minority rights, women's rights, are human rights that are enshrined in our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. And I am very, very committed to ensuring that all of our rights are protected. Not at the bare minimum, but at the point where our community can thrive. Just like you guys, my family, my parents, we moved here for the betterment of their kids, me and my 3 brothers. My parents have sacrificed so much to give their kids and now their grandkids that better life. And I think it is incumbent upon me, incumbent upon all of us to work together to make sure that our future generations have exactly what it is that our parents moved here for, and that is equality of opportunity. And by working to ensure that the modern Muslim woman, like myself, like many here in this room, have that equality of opportunity, ensures that our kids have that equality of opportunity. It ensures that we are stronger together as a community, that we care for each other. And lastly, I will say, well, 2 more things. Firstly, I'll say that, and I'm very biased about this, everyone, but ICNA Sisters is one of my favorite organizations in the country. And it's because ICNA Sisters is led by strong Muslim women who are unapologetic, who say what needs to be said, and who do what needs to be done. And for that, I really commend you guys, honestly. And the last thing I'll say is that I am here as an ally, as a resource, and I look forward to working with you continually to ensure that we are working together, to build that equality of opportunity that each and every one of us in this room deserve. Jazakallah khair for taking the time to listen to me. I have a small token of appreciation for ICNA. If I can please invite Brother Ijaz to come up and receive this on behalf of our government of Canada and myself as your Member of Parliament in Mississauga, Erin Mills. Jazakallah khair and rock on!
Didn't you say that ICNA Sisters is your favorite organization? They should be getting this one.